I'm Summer Huntington of Mace Vinyasa and Shala, and today I'll be demoing with Coach Alicia the Yogi squat with 4 different variations. So Alicia, go ahead and start in your mountain pose with your feet hip distance apart, and you can face the front of your mat here. So super important when you're establishing your mountain pose, the feet are hip distance, your glutes are on, your shoulders are packed, and you're wringing out the mace like a washcloth. Alicia is one of our head coaches. She's been doing this for about 4 years, and she's leading our level 1 Mace Vinyasa seminar. The Yogi squat is honestly one of the most important moves to really master, and there are so many different variations. Alicia, I'm gonna have you scoot back just a hair, and we'll start with variation 1. So we start by wringing out the mace and finding the shoulder pack to engage the lats. If I was implementing this with a private client, so imagine Alicia was my client, I would do a little palpation here if I had the privilege to coach her in person here, and I would cue her to get those glutes firing. Her legs are completely straight. She's got great crown to coccyx alignment. So level 1, keeping that shoulder pack, find your hip hinge, micro bend your knees, and then come into your squat and touch your elbows to the insides of your knees. When we close the kinetic chain and we get that feedback of pushing the elbows out and the knees in, and making that kind of fighting knees against elbows, we get even more shoulder pack. As you rise up, return the mace to your order position and squeeze your glutes on. Again, find your hip hinge, come into your squat, crown to coccyx alignment, and then stand up, squeeze the glutes at the top. So here she is starting in prayer position. Let's go all the way over to order position here, another variation. We can move from that order position into the center, and then find your hip hinge, find your squat. We inhale on the way down, we exhale on the way up and pull it back to the left side. Good, inhale to come down. Exhale as we stand on the work face, and return back to the starting position. Switch sides, place right hand on bottom, and come all the way over to the right side. We'll start in that two-handed guard. Find your hip hinge. Find your crown to coccyx alignment. Good. Elbows to knees. Good. Good. Crown to coccyx, rise up, squeeze the glutes. And again, find the hip hinge. So in movement coaching, when you learn, just keep going. Alicia, when you learn to coach this stuff, you're really looking at alignment. You're looking for the 6 degrees of freedom. How does my client move? Where are their power leakages? Really getting in there and making sure, lats are on, torque is engaged, everything is working. Next progression, pull the mace back to your left side, left hand on bottom, and I'll have you face the viewers here. So super important when you're learning the guard position here, we want to seat the scapula in a neutral position. So we elevate, retract, depress, and get that scapula out of the forward leaning position and into scapula neutral. And then go ahead and return back to your squared up position facing the front of your mat. Next progression, scoot back for me just a hair so we stay in the shot. So next progression, she'll be pressing her mace out to a two-handed flag. Go ahead and do that first with no squat. Ensuring she has full elbow lock and shoulder pack. Her lats are fine, her glutes are on. She finds her hip hinge and comes into a yogi squat, angling the mace globe towards her just a hair to find that leverage. Her lats are firing, she's got that crown to coccyx alignment. Rise up, pull the mace to the left side, all the way to the left in guard. Again, press it out, do a power breath here. Find your hip hinge, find your squat, force level breath. Beautiful, and back to the starting position. So here, and I'm observing, she'll do about 3 to 4 reps on either side. And as a movement coach, again, this is what we teach in our level 1 seminars and in our 100-hour, we're observing where is the power leakage. She has really great form. She's got her grip confirmation, her elbow lock, she's got her shoulder pack, glute engagement. She's keeping crown to coccyx alignment by tucking the chin and lengthening through the crown of the head. And she is conditioning the posterior chain. She's conditioning her glutes, her hamstrings, and even her back muscles. Next progression, we'll pull the mace to the left side. So this is a little bit more advanced. Coming into a striking pattern. I'll be out of the way here, Alicia. So we'll go into a shoulder cast. Inhale. Striking pattern. Exhale. Pull to two-handed guard. Press out to two-handed flag. Find your hip hinging squat. Power breath. Good. Pull back to the chest guard. Inhale. She finds her striking pattern. Exhale, she pulls it down with fierceness and control. She presses it to the two-handed flag, which is technically a blocking pattern. And she moves into and out of the conditioning exercise 4 reps. She'll do 3 to 4 on the one side, and she'll switch sides. You can follow along at home, especially if you're gearing up for Alicia's level 1 seminar coming up here in September, virtual and in person if you want to come train in person. Inhale, back position, exhale. So here I'm keying in and looking for the tone in her triceps to see that everything's turned on. I'm staying out of her peripheral view. These are all elements of movement coaching. I'm not blocking her view, but I'm just giving her subtle cues on the outside, making sure I'm observing her alignment. Last one here. And then Mace in prayer position and chugging breath. Inhale through nose and exhale. The chug is super important as well. We inhale through the nose, pause, and a 4-count exhale by the mouth to bring ourselves into parasympathetic in between our conditioning rounds. This is really key in still Mace Vinyasa to help achieve more than just conditioning your muscles, but also conditioning your nervous system. For our final, most advanced, I'll stay out of your way, 360 into a yogi squat with flag. Lock down pull, 360. She presses it out to a 2-handed flag. Returns back to the starting position. Notice she's developing proprioceptive awareness here to be able to sense where her mace is in the space. As she presses it out to that 2-handed flag, she switches sides. She's clearing the mace behind the head to allow her to open up her shoulders. She's integrating the core on those swings. Every single rep is an opportunity to work on that 2-handed throwing pattern and then a 2-handed blocking pattern, also a lifting pattern. So there's 3 primal movement patterns in this exercise. Go ahead and set your mace down. Beautiful, Alicia, a little chug breath. So how does this relate to yoga? The next progression would be going into malasana, so the yogi squat. So when we condition with load over time, the yoga asana becomes much easier to access. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through prayer. Find malasana. Hold, elbows to knees. Crown to coccyx alignment. She's got great hip mobility here. She's got beautiful spine mobility here. She's not lifting up her heels and stealing mobility from other areas. She's clearly worked on shaving off immobilities with conditioning with the mace so that she can access the asana even better. All right, go ahead and come on up. And I want to invite Alicia to just share a little bit about her internal experience as she was going through the levels and why coaching and moving through various levels is important to a holistic movement practice.
Yeah, I feel like my nervous system just like slowly ramped up, and then I was able to ramp it down with the chugging breath. And also I feel like as it got more complicated, I really needed those earlier progressions in order to feel really strong and prepared, like physically prepared. Even if I've done this a million times before, it's nice to progress. And then getting into malasana at the end, I felt like my hips were like, yeah, you're ready for this, totally ready for it.
And when you're first learning the mace and kind of coming to a level 1 seminar, what are some of the key things that you like to bring into your seminars to kind of help people that are brand new to mace really master the fundamentals?
Yeah, I think simple to complex, training simple to complex, programming simple to complex. Keeping things simple in the beginning. I think we often want to put a lot of postures into the loaded flows, but if you just keep it to a few postures, you're able to stay much more regulated than if you're switching the mace constantly and trying to put in all the things that you know. Keeping it simple is really, really good for the nervous system. And as a coach, it's actually really nervous system regulating for me as well to know that like I'm not having to memorize 30 different postures with a mace switching back and forth. I can know solidly what I'm teaching and not have to necessarily refer to a piece of paper that has a whole list of things written down.
Well, I look forward to continuing to showcase Alicia's work. She is an amazing, phenomenal coach on our team in the 100 Hour. She does movement labs every single week with our cohorts. She has a full and thriving clientele and really embodies this practice. And it's such an honor to be able to have you leading and teaching the Level 1 seminars. Leave a comment below if you learned something. If you tried out the little mini workout, I'd love to hear how it went for you. And you can always find all of our workshops on the Shala website under workshops and retreats.